fellow Americans, I want to speak to you tonight about the troubling events of the past week.
I'm gonna pull the whole thing down. I'm gonna bring the whole fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gonna be biblical.
How's it going, everybody? FCB here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fantastic, and I hope you're all in amazing spirits. Welcome to the Pulse here on the Freedom Channel broadcast. Welcome to the Looking Glass again, Trump's Looking Glass. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome there again. Back to Stranger World, back to Bizarre World. Look, we got a lot to divulge. I'm going to twist your minds, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare for one of the biggest shows ever. Okay? In other words, get ready for the real truth to be exposed, because you come here and you know you're going to get the real truth. Number one, okay, you've seen all this strange business going on. Yes, because we are deep within the Looking Glass, and you know what the Looking Glass is. Let's revisit that one. Okay, so we know what we're dealing here with. Now, you also are being gaslit, okay? Not by me, by them. Okay, the meaning of Alice through the Looking Glass revolves around the themes of duality. Yes, we're going to explore that a lot today, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when I spoke about PAC, program and control? We're going to go deeper, and using the Q drops as well. Themes of duality, inversions, and navigating in a nonsensical world. Well, that's where we are right now. In a nonsensical world. Okay, now, try to make sense of what's going on. Don't even bother. You realize that we are being gaslit. Okay, that's what you got to remember. And also, don't you worry, good old Pog's there as well. I've seen the comms, ladies and gentlemen. The comms are nice and clear that we are definitely being gaslit like you wouldn't believe. Okay, now, what is President Trump doing? Okay, what he's doing is this. Let's go to this one. Reintroducing narratives. Okay, that's what he's doing. We are in mind warfare. Up is down, left is right. Q drop 833. Q drop 521. Know that they're in control. They're creating and staged control chaos using special operations. Oh yes, special operations known as Psychological Operations Group. 4th and 8th Division, they do exist. They're out of Fort Bragg. Central casting, psychological and mind warfare. The only solution out of all of this is the military. All right, that's the only solution. Now, you would have seen Mr. Dan Scavino. Now, Dan Scavino is like President Trump's right-hand man. He controls the internet. You've heard that business, right? He controls the internet. He controls a lot of bloody things, that guy. Now, if we go to the comms section here, which I've got for you, you will see that not long ago, Dan Scavino brought something up. It was an honor to deliver the remarks to President Trump's political, shall we say, appointees at the morning's all-call meeting over at the Pentagon. The Pentagon. When you think about the Pentagon, think about the military. And who is also in the, shall we say, in the military? 4th Division and 8th Division of Psychological Operations Group. Well, let me show you something, ladies and gentlemen. In this little picture right here, so we've got Dan Scavino going around there, yes, doing a little speech, song and dance. Okay, you got Mr. Pete Hegseth. This picture right here, I've prepared, you know when they say they prepare something earlier on? I prepared it, okay, earlier on. But this is it here. What I've done here is, ladies and gentlemen, have a look at this little symbol over there. What does that remind you of? That is Psychological Operations Group. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that with a dagger through the, look at this, all these arrows, all this business. Okay, there's good old POG. In the midst, ladies and gentlemen, they've always got to be somewhere, and there they are. Good old POG. Okay, and they're all laughing it up at our expense. No, don't laugh at our expense. We've had enough of the garbage, okay? We're not going to be sat there and be gaslit. We know what's really going on. We know what the take is, okay? And like I said, President Trump is, doing it by design. He's gaslighting everyone, including the deep state, okay? That's what he's doing right there. So, mind games, ladies and gentlemen, and psychological manipulation tactics to make one question and doubt their own sanity, memories or perceptions of reality, often to gain control or power. Okay, control or power over who? What? The deep state. The abuser says one thing and does another thing. Like, think about this. Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would see a terrorist, okay, an ISIS, shall we say, ISIS Al-Qaeda terrorist, that not long ago on the US, shall we say, Syrian and embassy's website had a $10 million bounty on his head known as Jalani, okay? Or, the new president of Syria. Now, think about it. Did anyone think in their wildest dreams that they would see that man over there at the White House, okay, sitting there and spraying cologne and having a jolly good old laugh with President Trump? No. You're being gaslit, ladies and gentlemen. No, don't even bother with that. Don't even worry. Don't bother. Don't even think about it, okay? The more you put more energy on it, the more you're going to do your head in, okay? Now, let's have a look at this little video. Just recently, President Trump had Mr. Jalani. Think about this. The veterans have been fighting against ISIS, Al-Qaeda. We know what they are. We know, we've been through that many times. Look at the previous shows. And then in comes Jalani, and they're spraying man cologne over each other. I mean, President Trump saying, I can't stand the stench. Here you go, spray some of that on. Okay, anyway, let's have a look at this video here.
Men's fragrance. Hold it. Yeah. This is it. No. It's the best fragrance. Come here, man.
I have more here, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many ones? Or what? You guys never know, right? I never know.
أنا أرسلت له هدايا فيها شيء أثري قديم. أول أبجدية صارت في التاريخ، أول ختم أيضا صار في التاريخ، أول نوتة موسيقية أيضا، أول تعريف جمهورية أيضا صارت في العالم.
That was made in the world.
Very good.
هي نسخة عن أشياء أثرية موجودة من أصولها في سأرسل الهدية للسيدة الأولى. كم زوجة؟
Very good. Right now, one.
Now, did anyone ever think in their wildest dreams they would see that business? No, I didn't. Okay, that's the lovely POG, shall we say, Psychological Operations Group. They must come up with all this sort of garbage, okay? And they're doing everything they possibly can to gaslight us. Now, obviously, there are people that are not taking it too well, okay? They're getting really angry, and people are losing it out there, okay? There are people that are losing the plot, just like this one right here. This is my pick of today's bizarre world, ladies and gentlemen. This is my clip that I picked today. And obviously, there are people that, as I said, that are losing the plot out there, like this one right over here.
So how'd you end up here today?
Because I'm Jesus.
Do you have some friends around here or something? I mean, for me to help you, you have to talk to me. I got more people coming. He's on something. 20, how far out are you? Definitely.
I'm Jesus Christ Almighty.
I'm at one of the shirts.
Fuck you. Yeah, you're devil. I'm Jesus Christ Almighty. Okay? Back up. Back up. I'm Jesus Christ Almighty. Nobody else is the fucking guy for their sins, motherfucker. No. You're not allowed to do this in here. Put your hand in. You're not allowed to do this in here. You aren't allowed to do this in here.
Obviously, he's not taking Bizarro World quite well, to be quite honest. There are people there that are losing the plot. Yes, like that one right there. That was my pick, ladies and gentlemen, of Bizarro World. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that little one. Now, another thing that we've been gaslit of is the Epstein files. Okay. No, Epstein, you're basically delusional, okay? You're delusional. You're talking about Epstein, you're delusional. Okay, that's what we've been told. Don't even bother talking about Epstein. And then, oh yes, no, the lips that lie, you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, good old Carolyn the vet, remember her? Yeah, that one right here. Today on Crosswatch, ladies and gentlemen, now when there's a cross missing, you can guarantee that she's been lying, okay? And I always put out a little cross watch. My cross has melted off, okay? Because it couldn't stand the lies of Levette, okay? Those lying lips, they just continue to go on. Now, a former White House press reporter has said every press secretary, it's part of their job that they have to lie. Now, obviously, Carolyn finds it very uncomfortable to wear the cross because she's got to lie. But let me tell you, Carolyn, whether you wear that cross or not, God's always watching and knows that you're lying. Okay? Now, she's gone around and she's saying, no, Epstein, no, why are you still talking about that business? And President Trump, oh, we're still talking about that? Okay? And then how the Democrats are always speaking about it. You know, the Democrats, these people, they don't know they're being set up. That's the genius of this man. Okay, and then you got Fox News, the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Okay, you got what's his name? Waters speaking. He's talking about how the Democrats. It's true. Well, hold on a minute. Think about it from this perspective. Why didn't they bring it up when Obama was in power? That's the question. The Democrats were in power back then. Why didn't they bring it up then? Who was the one to bring it in? Who was the one that brought in Jeffrey Epstein under his watch? Who was the one that brought in Ghislaine Maxwell under his watch? And they put the magnifying glass on it many times under his watch. It's in the Q drops right there, okay, mentioned many times. And then you've been gaslit, okay? No, why are we still speaking about it? So I decided to send this to President Trump and said, well, this is why we're still speaking about it, President Trump. With all due respect, please explain. Please explain. That's all we want is an explanation, okay? Why we've been gaslit, and I know why we've been gaslit, okay? It's all been done by design, as I said. And people saying, oh, I'm so sick and tired of being gaslit. Well, guess what? Get used to it, because we are in the thick of the looking glass and it's going to get worse, okay? And think about this. It's time for us to grow a second layer of skin, or third, or fourth, or fifth, and time to toughen up, right? Don't allow the gaslighting to get the better of you. Otherwise, you're not going to make it through this looking glass business, okay? And as I said, President Trump is saying, oh, we're still talking about it. He's posted it on, on his Truth Social. And it's like, we're still talking about it, because the more he talks about it, because it's funny, the more he talks about it, the more angry people get. And the more it's out there, so it's working, okay? It's like a reverse psychology, if you will. But this is what I put out to President Trump as a little reminder. Hey, can you please explain, just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire? Okay, let's watch this.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Everybody in politics has a vice that's much worse than alcoholism, is the way that I put it. But we
release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
I'm not ever going to let this story go because of what I heard from a source about Bill Clinton on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not letting it go ever. Ever.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Hey, it's unbelievable that people are reacting. You should see what the things that they're saying. No, not some very nice things, President Trump, to be quite honest, about you and obviously about Karen Levitt. And people are getting very angry, and it's done by design. People don't realize that this is exactly what's been done by design because they know what kind of reaction. Think about this, right? They know what reaction they're going to get, and they know that the more they speak about it, the more they're going to be, shall we say, harassed about it, okay? And the more it's going to stay in the public spotlight. And people are putting all these memes up there, just all these memes. So the Democrats are using this. And now ask yourself this question. If back in 2016, if they had wanted to use this ammunition, why not then? Why not then when the supposed deep state were stronger, not weaker? Why not back then? Because people don't realize the deep state comes in different flavors. Oh, yes, don't you worry about that one. And this is all about exposure. So in other words, they're going on and on and on and on and on. Okay. And President Trump is saying, are we still talking about it? He knows what he's doing. He's setting a trap. Don't you worry, the trap's been set. Now, let's talk about this. All of a sudden, we've got all this other weird shit going on, okay? Hitler's got a micro penis. You heard about that one? A lovely little, addition to the looking glass of bullshit. Now, Adolf Hitler likely had a micro penis, and apparently they got this little piece of material had his blood on it. Now, number one, fun fact, okay? Let me tell you about the facts. Number one, that we know that Hitler, going to the CIA vaults, and we know that Hitler he went over to good old South America, didn't he? Argentina. Now, who is the one think about this. Wasn't the one that supposedly was Hitler was cremated? Okay. Apparently caught on fire. So realistically speaking, the one that caught on fire, they couldn't identify. They say that was Hitler. We've got to take their word for it, really. This little cremation thing seems to be something that keeps going on to this day. Future proofs past. Ashley Babbitt, cremated. No, they couldn't get the evidence. Hitler, cremated. So future proofs past. Again, Thomas Crook, the one that supposedly shot President Trump in the ear, cremated. And then you got FBI, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, gaslighting again. Now, Tucker's been turning some stuff over. Oh, don't you worry. Tucker's been used for his reach for a reason. And he's like the, shall we say, when they say the birdie? Okay, when does a bird sing? Well, when he's been released from the fox. Okay, that's what he's been doing. He's been singing like a birdie all over the place. Okay, now, like I said, think about it from a logical standpoint. Hitler was cremated. So what? so they couldn't find who he was. I mean, no, that's Hitler. That pile of ash is Hitler. And that blanket next to him happens to be his blood. And that blood, we've taken it after all this time. Think about this. All this time since 1945 to go and do all this testing. Really now, are we going to believe this load of garbage? Okay. No, don't believe it. No, I've only got a micro penis, and obviously, we're all having a bit of a laugh about it. Researchers beyond the Hitler's DNA documentary says that Nazi dictator likely had Kalman syndrome. Okay, poor Kalman. Undescended testicle. He had one testicle and apparently a micro penis. Lovely, isn't it? It's enough garbage to add into this, shall we say, looking glass. Scientist reveals, let's have a listen to this crap, seriously. Who believes this crap? And realistically speaking, I mean, why did they wait all this time? Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's watch this shit.
A new discovery has uncovered a secret about Hitler's DNA 80 years after his death. The key was this, a blood-stained cloth taken from the scene of Hitler's death by a US soldier looking for a souvenir. Decades...
Hold on a minute. A US soldier took a piece of blanket, whatever it is. What? Let's go back again. There we go. So the US soldier took this back as a souvenir. Lovely.
Cloth taken from the scene of Hitler's death by a US soldier looking for a souvenir. Decades later, this souvenir has cracked the dictator's genetic code, and the results reveal that Hitler was sexually underdeveloped. Hitler likely had Kalman syndrome, a genetic disorder that halts puberty and affects the development of sexual organs. It would have lowered his testosterone levels, left him infertile, and caused what doctors describe as underdeveloped genitalia. Historical medical records suggested he had an undescended testicle, and his DNA points to a 1 in 10 chance of a micropenis. Experts say this could explain his lifelong avoidance of intimacy and obsessive devotion to politics. The study also debunks the long-standing myth.
You know, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we're relying on someone's story. It's called his story, okay? His story can be manipulated.
That Hitler had Jewish ancestry. His genes show Austrian...
No. Why are they saying it debunks that Hitler had no Jewish ancestry? Yeah, no, he had Ashkenazi ancestry from Grandpa Rothschild. Okay, that's in the Q drops. All right, that's all been shown as well. That's all. There's a lot of stuff that's been come out about him. No, we're going to debunk it. No, we're going to believe you, number one, from some shitty rag that's got some stain on it, that apparently after years and years and years, they've decided to put it under a lab and work out that he's got a micropenis, one ball sack. They burnt, like everything else, they burn everything, don't they? Just like they burnt Thomas Crook. You know, they cremated him. Don't you find that there's a common denominator? They burn the evidence. They can't go do, shall we say, proper forensics. Now let's get rid of them. Let's chuck them all in the incinerator like they did back in the USS Liberty. Does everyone remember that one? How they got all the body parts. I brought that out in the previous show. How they got all the body parts and they whacked it into an incinerator because everything that goes into an incinerator gets burnt to a crisp and you can't get any forensic evidence. Just like Ashley Babbitt, just like Hitler, just like the USS Liberty, just like, everything else. Absolutely. Don't allow this gaslighting business to get the better of you guys. That's my opinion. Okay? Another thing is, I've got some new tools. Okay? Let me try them out while I've got you. So, number one, up the top there, you'll see above me is my QR code. Okay? I've got all these new tools, ladies and gentlemen, in this streaming platform. You can actually click, or whatever you do, scan it, and that will take you directly to our Linktree website. On there, you will find everything you need to do to join us. It doesn't cost you a cent. Okay? And you can even shout me a coffee up there as well. Yes, like and subscribe. Yes, you see that little button over there? Oh, no, it's not a button. It's just a little thingy up on the screen. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And subscription doesn't cost a damn thing. Another thing is, I want to say thank you to those that have donated. Okay, really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, as I said, it goes towards keeping the lights on, keeping the show going. Everything is, costs, and thank you for your coffee shouts, your donations, much appreciated. There you go. So there's my little features. And then you will notice on the side of me is there's a screen right there. Okay. And on that screen, you will see the comments section. So it's rolling around, and you'll see that whenever you type, so whether you're in YouTube, whether you're in Rumble, it goes here. It's a lovely little feature, isn't it? Okay, and I can make it bigger. There we go. So you guys can see. I can make it medium sized. I can make it wider. People are losing it out there. Okay. As you can see with that man, he thought he was Jesus. He was going at the, and did you see how many times this guy collapsed? He could have smashed his head open quite a few times. Thank God the police stepped in and put an end to that business. Now, another strange and bizarre thing that's happening in shall we say, in the looking glass is good old AOC. It seems to me, remember, going back to what I said about the looking glass business, that everything is in the opposite, right? Everything is the opposite in the looking glass, and we literally are in the thick of it. Now, AOC apparently now is trying to build her MAGA base. Get this. She's actually loves talking about how much MAGA loves her now. And then you got MTG on the other side. It's like, that's what I'm saying. This is the looking glass. We got MTG on one side, going across to the View, going across to the left, and then you got AOC going across to the right. Can you get any more bizarre than this? I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so at all. Let's have a listen to what AOC has to say, okay?
I want to say this right now. I fully welcome Trump voters into our coalition. And I know that sounds crazy to some people, but just hear me out. I cannot tell you, it just happened to me like 2 weeks ago. I can't tell you how many times someone has pulled me aside and said either I was once a big Trump voter and a Trump supporter and I watched Fox News every day, but then I started to kind of expand my world and where I got information. And now I've learned and now I've changed and I'm with you and I learn from you. Or people who meet me who are really big Republicans now, and they are shocked when they meet me because they're like, you are nothing like I was told you are. And you start to see the cogs turning, that maybe everything that they had been told from this one channel or this one ecosystem isn't the whole truth. And it is enough to spark a curiosity that makes people want to go down a longer journey of learning. And, that doesn't mean that we sacrifice our values. That doesn't mean that we change who we are. It's like when you welcome someone in, you say, hey, these are the house rules, right? We're not going to give up fighting for people's equal rights and civil rights. But we believe in those civil and economic rights for everybody. And fighting for the working class means uniting across difference. And so it starts something that's important.
Don't believe look, she's playing the game. That's what it is. She's playing the bloody game, and she's playing it very well. I mean, obviously, look at this little picture here. No, this picture is real. It's not AI. I've confirmed it. She's smiling with Matt Gaetz back in the day. Back in 2019, Peace on Earth. Yeah, we know that she's part of the central casting. Everything goes back to this looking glass, because in the looking glass, we're living in the world of the opposite. Okay? Like I said here, themes of duality, inversions, and navigating a nonsensical world, and a world of the opposites. There we go. So this is what I'm saying. Don't get upset. Don't get angry. Don't get nothing. Don't even give it any energy. Oh, yes. And by the way, Stephen Bannon did do an interview. I've confirmed this. I'll have to leave it for another time because there's a lot to it. But Steve Bannon did an interview with Jeffrey Epstein back in the day on Epstein Island. I've got videos, bits and pieces, but this is all coming to light for a reason. Now, what it's doing is it's these emails. The other thing is the emails. These emails are being released about President Trump to do with Epstein, all that. Don't give it any air. It's all being done by design to reintroduce a narrative. Now, ask yourself, why does this always keep coming out when we've got presses? They're always asking the same question. People got to realize that we are following some sort of script. These reporters that come in and ask the same questions about Jeffrey Epstein, it's all been done for a reason. And it's to reintroduce a narrative. It's done, and that's what President Trump says. Are we still speaking about it? Ghislaine Maxwell claims she performed sexual acts on George Clooney. Lovely. And that's from good old Virginia Guffey. So the Nobody Girl book, and it's gaining traction. We know that Prince Andrew lost his royal title. Prince Andrew is just the beginning. Or shall we say Andrew? It's all leading to Charles, King Charles. Remember Jimmy Savile. Just remember that name. Jimmy Savile, BBC, top of the pops, okay, was knighted by the Queen. A notorious pedophile, over 500 children. And him and Charlie were the best of friends. King Charles. We've forgotten about all that, haven't we? There are things that have been done in a sequence for a reason. Now, how are they going to swing it? Everyone sits there and wrecks their brains over it. No, don't even bother wrecking your brain. They're going to do it in a way where it's going to make logical sense. Now, when their heads start rolling, it's going to be boom, 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 one after another. It'll be a domino effect. Never forget this one. Remember Elon Musk said, wow, that's amazing that Epstein killed himself and Ghislaine is in federal prison for a hoax. I think his name is Ricky Gervais, that's it. Musk posts, your friends, Epstein didn't kill himself. Remember that little speech over there? Let's just revisit that one.
Obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Okay, they're all laughing it up, okay? And this is all coming out for a reason. Everything is all coming out. Now, Elon Musk kept on making little digs. How do you make something disappear that's a prototype of an X4907 ultra stealth aircraft? Just plaster all the Epstein client list. Okay, and there's just so much of it. Jeffrey Epstein's assistant reveals names of leaders she met. And it's out there. Over and over and over and over, it's plastered out there. Captured of future president's 1993 wedding. So that was President Trump's wedding and Epstein there. People don't realize that President Trump's got the cards. He knows what he's doing. Jeffrey Epstein was questioned at the time, have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? Let's have a look what Jeffrey Epstein said.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Right, see, he basically said, I can't answer that business. However, what is that doing? It's also dragging in good old Billy Clinton. Billy Clinton's involved, okay? And you know what's funny? The other day on Facebook, the Democrats there were saying, oh, you know, they had a picture of Hillary, right? Good old Hillary and that's right, Kamala Harris together, okay? And they had this little picture there of them digesting popcorn side by side, saying, we can't wait to see the Epstein files. So I grabbed that little picture and I flipped it around, just like President Trump flips everything around. And I decided to put my little spin on it. I said, get ready for the Epstein files, right? That's what they had. And then I put, my husband is in them and send it back. Crickets, ladies and gentlemen. The good old crickets. Jeffrey Epstein linked billionaires pay $37 million for former Obama rental home on Martha's Vineyard. Now, you're seeing there's all these little connections have been made. All right. Virginia's little book's going out there, and it's basically like a little wrecking ball at this point. Then more Epstein emails coming soon, Democrats say, after bombshell Epstein Trump document release. Oh, lovely. Just keep going. President Trump set that trap for you, and it's all going to make the world of sense when they all start to, basically they think they got Trump. Well, hold on a minute. Why didn't they use that in 2016? Huh? Why didn't they use that in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, when he was a candidate, and even after that? Why? No, instead they used a stupid Steele dossier that was debunked and has been shown to be the weakest document ever made against President Trump. Why didn't they use the ammunition back then when they were at their strongest? That's what I'm saying. Look beyond. Look beyond. Now, apparently also on the Joe Rogan show, Jeffrey Epstein wrote to Peter Thiel. You know Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance's squeeze, the one that gave him a lot of money during his campaign. But also Peter Thiel is a tech guru, one that co-founded PayPal, and is up there with the tech. Now, here's the one that's been screaming up and down about the Antichrist. I'll go through that as well. But he said that he hung out with Epstein. Get this, ladies and gentlemen. That he hung out with Epstein because he knew how to set up foundations and give him good tax advice. Have a look at this.
You know, I met Epstein a few times as well, and I think. How'd you get introduced? It was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us in 2014, but it was basically, and I didn't check, didn't ask enough questions about it, but I think there were sort of a lot of things where it was fraudulent. I do think Epstein knew a lot about taxes.
So he knew a lot about taxes, and that's why you went to him, Peter.
And there were probably, these complicated ways you could structure a nonprofit organization, especially as a way in a marital context.
He sounds like he can't swallow because there's a frog in his throat. Could be Trump. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I know he knows how to set up non-profit organizations. And what does Q says? They all got foundations. Okay? And that foundations happen to find their way, like, their connections to the Cayman Island. And, obviously Epstein, he was in Little St. James, in the thick of the Caribbean, because that's where the pirates of the Caribbean all hang out, including the IRS in Puerto Rico. Okay, they're all there. Necker Island, Water Island, the Biden family, they're all over there. Okay, and they keep their plunder in the good old Cayman Islands, like every of these politicians and leaders. Think about this. There's a group of islands out there called the Cayman Islands, okay, that is basically little specks of land out there, okay? Now, they've got every bank from the world have got a branch there. Why? And they've all got foundations. That's what it is. Just like Peter Thiel has got foundations coming out of the wazoo. And it's exposure, isn't it? There's more exposure. And if that's not enough to, shall we say, add to the looking glass, we've got some asteroid known as Atlas 3I that's hurtling in space right now, heading towards us. Now, apparently this thing started breaking off and it's starting to do all these wonderful things, getting brighter, getting bluer, getting all this sort of crap. Okay. And it's getting closer and closer. I mean, I don't know where this is going, but they keep saying, oh, there's some sort of alien, really, okay, are we going to be surprised with some sort of alien thing? God knows what they got in store for all of us, okay? It's not enough that they've got this AI business going on. Oh, yeah, AI, okay, artificial intelligence, for those who don't know what that means, okay, it means the opposite to life. God is life, artificial intelligence, okay? Now, it's not enough that we've got to worry about that. It's not enough that we've got to worry about all these other things, you know, and then now we've got this asteroid known as asteroid or Atlas 3I coming towards us. You know, we can add that to the shit fest, just to say the least. Now, like I said, guys, we are living in a very, shall we say, world of strangeness. Talking about lying, the world map. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know we've been lied to about the size of our countries, the size of Africa compared to the size of Greenland? You know, when you see the world map, right, and Greenland looks huge, right? Europe looks big. Russia looks massive. All that sort of business. No, we've been lied to. And it's all coming out now. Why is it all coming out now? Are we all having a sudden flood of confessions as to what's really been going on? Okay, now according to the New York Post, the world map is a lie. We've been looking at it at a distorted version of reality. For 400 years, they've been lying to us about the map. 400 years. Okay? We've been lied to. Let's have a look at this video here.
The map of the world is a lie. You know that map that hung in your elementary school classroom? The same one you see now on Google Maps? Well, it's wrong. This is not what the world actually looks like. The size of a lot of these countries isn't real. Greenland, for example, looks massive, right? Huge. And it appears to be about the same size of Africa. Nope. Africa is actually 14 times bigger than Greenland. What? Alaska, huge, right? Nope. Mexico is actually bigger. And Europe looks large and sprawling. But Europe, in reality, could fit entirely inside Africa. So the true size of the world's countries is not this. It's actually this. How and why did this happen? In 1569, a guy with an epic beard named Gerardus Mercator created a flat map of the round Earth so that people sailing across the ocean could draw straight navigation lines to plan and measure their route. This is what Mercator's 1569 map of the world looked like. Mercator was from Europe, and Europe at the time was the center of world exploration and conquest. And a lot of that exploration and conquest was happening via the Atlantic Ocean. So obviously Mercator put Europe and the Atlantic Ocean in the middle of the map. Mercator died in 1594, but his map lived on, becoming the foundation for basically every world map ever since. But there's a problem here. You can't simply make a flat map out of a round sphere without there being some distortions. Probably the best visual example of these distortions is this animation from a Norwegian history channel on YouTube. To make the Earth into a flat map, it is sliced into 6 curved pieces. Those curved pieces are then flattened, combined, and then stretched. And here is the current world map. But did you see what happened? Let's go back and watch that again. The countries near the poles get stretched out. Greenland goes from tadpole to Godzilla. Europe, Russia, and North America, which are incidentally 3 major world powers, get blown up like balloons. Fast forward to the 20th century and the Cold War. The Mercator projection map was in basically every Western school classroom. The United States, big. Soviet Union, big. Europe, big. The superpowers literally look super. Now, there was no official memo that said make us look bigger for propaganda reasons, but no one complained either. Maps aren't neutral, they're political. When your map makes you look large, you don't rush in to change it. 1973, along comes Arno Peters, who essentially says, hey, maybe making Europe all enormous and big and Africa squeezed down and small isn't fair. He called the Mercator projection map colonialist propaganda, and then released his own map, the Peters projection. In Peters' map, Africa suddenly balloons to its true size. Europe shrinks down, and everyone freaked out. For example, Matthew Edney, a renowned map historian, said Peters, quote, concocted a veritable farrago of lies to sell his map, adding that Peters' map was absurd and complete bullshit. The German Cartographic Society published a 1985 booklet showing a red X through Peters' map. They accused the map of being fake, an extreme deformation of the truth, and complete nonsense. Peters wasn't actually a cartographer. He was a historian and filmmaker, so the map experts saw him as an outsider hijacking their field for ideological reasons. And the map Peters promoted wasn't even new. It was almost identical to one proposed by Scottish cartographer James Gall in the 1850s. So Peters' map was eventually renamed the Gall-Peters projection. Liberal entities like the United Nations embraced the Peters map, while more conservative entities clutched onto the traditional Mercator map. To many, while more accurate in size, the Peters map just felt wrong. Does it feel wrong to you? Look at it. One of the reasons Peters' map might feel wrong is because we have literally been looking at the wrong map for over 400 years now.
We've been lied to, deceived, indoctrinated, and it's saying, you think about it, we've been shown this map over and over again. Remember when we used to go to school and they used to have the ball spinning around and, oh, that's really cool, that's the earth, okay, spinning around the world and all that. No, you were being programmed, like everything else you've been programmed with. That's what I'm saying. There are no coincidences. Now, talking about no coincidences, don't you find it strange that in the world of the influencers, they're dropping off like flies? Look at this. Michael Duarte shot dead by Texas deputies. It doesn't pay to be a TikTok influencer. A Scotland mum admits that she had faked entire pregnancy. Lovely. Why the hell would you do that? What, so you can get more followers? You idiot. Okay. Then all of a sudden, the crypto Mongol, and obviously he's an influencer as well, in his $430,000 Lamborghini ended up in flames. It doesn't pay to be an influencer. Then you've got all these other things. A TikTok influencer accused of breaking up marriage to paying nearly $2 million to a jilted spouse. So in other words, I didn't know that it could be profitable if someone broke up your marriage. Obviously, the jury has ordered a TikTok influencer. Oh, yeah, that's it right there. It means money. When you hear TikTok influencer, it equals cash, right? A British influencer says she deeply feels sorry for lying to her friends about her cancer to make money. How's that grab you? Okay, these influencers, obviously, that's what they are. They're influencing the stupid, and that's what they do. Now, this idiot right here, Mr. Barstools man, Dave Portnoy, Shekels man, basically he's trying to get cash. That's what it's all about, getting the cash, Mr. Shekels, right? I've exposed Mr. Shekels many times. Remember, he was so quick to go against Trump when things weren't working his way with the crypto or the stocks. Remember that one? And then when it went up, he loves Trump. His loyalties lie to money, this guy Dave Portnoy. And what happened was, he went out there and he was doing his little pizza song and dance, that little pizza thing that he does, right? Oh, he grades all the pizzas and stuff. And then someone, a 20-year-old boy, or man, whatever it is, happened to disturb him while he was grading the pizza, and he hurled some anti-Semitic abuse. Well, let me tell you something. He's trying to get money, okay, trying to sue the poor bloke, okay? Now, the reason why I say the poor bloke, 20-year-old man, 20 years old, I don't think he has the money to give Portnoy. Okay, let's be honest. And back in the old days, ladies and gentlemen, I remember being hurled all sorts of abuse of racism. Now, did I go around suing people? Did I go around basically, let's think about it, okay? Someone called us something, not nice, okay, racist. Could we hurl them into jail? Mr. Police, can you put that man in jail? He called me they'll be laughing at us here, okay? They'll be laughing at us, but no. It's no laughing matter when they call you something like, the anti-Semitic abuse. Remember the anti-Semitic abuse? I mean, how about harden the fuck up, Dave? Okay, how about that one right there? There was no courts. There was none of that crap. Okay, this is what I'm saying. It's so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. And then we got this influencer that dies of a mysterious illness. Lovely. Celebrating her 26th birthday. It doesn't pay to be an influencer. Yeah, okay. We know about that. Yeah, there he is. 36,000. I knew Mr. Shekels was going after that. Razors say that poor boy, 20 years old, said something to good old Shekels. Okay. He didn't like it. Like I said, harden the fuck up, Dave. Okay. Like we did. And he's asking for $36,000 for an anti-Semitic, he's trying to raise $36,000 for an anti-Semitic rant. I mean, seriously, what happened to the men that had balls? Okay, and then all of a sudden we got a stupid biological male influencer, another idiot, thinks it's got menopause. Ridiculous. Then we got a body nutritionalist Instagram influencer, apparently plunges to the death in the apartment building. It doesn't pay to be an influencer. This idiot over here, Andrew Tate, he's an influencer, a big one. He's going around and saying, Europe is broke. America is on the edge. They want your money, really. Andrew Tate says anyone involved in crypto is going to prison for 23 years. That means everybody. See you later. Okay? It doesn't pay to be an influencer because influencing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an empowerer. And empower somebody that empowers people with the truth. An influencer has a narrative. An influencer basically influences the weak-minded, the stupid, the ignorant. That's what they do. That's what they're all about. Okay? No. I empower people with the truth. Seem to be, dropping off. Probably because they're useless. They're useless. They are useless. Now, did you also see, ladies and gentlemen, the good old Lucifer bug? Yes, here in Australia, the Lucifer bug. So where the hell did that come from? Did everyone see this thing? Well, let me tell you something. Here in Australia, we've got snakes, spiders, jellyfish, and everything else in between that want to kill you. Okay? Even the octopus, the little blue ring octopus, wants to kill you. Oh, isn't that cute? It's got the little blue rings. No, don't even touch it. You'll die in 5 seconds. See you later, right? This thing right here, where the hell... this is the question I want to know. All of a sudden, has this thing been hiding? All of a sudden, we've got a demon horn Lucifer bee that decided to come to Australia. Okay, I don't know from where. Where was it hiding up the devil's arsehole and the devil decided to shit it out? Okay, I don't know where this comes from. A new species of bee bearing devilish horns has been discovered in Western Australia. Curtin University announced Tuesday, although the flowering plants relying with the pollinator. I mean, where the hell did it come from? I mean, it just can't just sort of manifest from thin air, right? It doesn't make any sense. The new species, well, come on. It was found in Western Australia, a critically endangered wildflower. Okay, we get it. How about you tell us, where the hell did Lucifer come from? Okay, we know Lucifer means devil, whatever. But where did this thing come from? No explanation whatsoever. Did it come from Europe? Let's have a look. Lucifer bug. Where did it come from? The origins, okay? That's what I want to know. Oh, it came from hell. Okay. I know Google must be thinking exactly the same thing I said. I mean, it said it come from hell, and obviously, where did it come from? I just want to know its origins. Okay, that's all I want to do. And no, it's not going to show me. It's an ugly bastard, isn't it? There a few years ago. So what? You've hidden this thing for a few years, and now you decided to come out with it. Oh, there we go. The Washington Post is involved. That explains it. It's got to come from somewhere. Do you see how we're in some sort of weird, bizarro world, ladies and gentlemen? No, I'm going to investigate this thing even further when I've got some time on my hands, okay? And see where this devilish bee came from. It's so ridiculous. I mean, we've been lied to about many things. Now, talking about lying, all of a sudden the youth seem to be copying. Healthy women cop lung cancer. It's called the jab. All of a sudden we've got here cancer rates are climbing. It's called the jab. Heart health trends seem to be, to slip at this age. It's a lot younger than you think. Yeah, we know it's called the jab. Okay. COVID-19 vaccines credited with saving millions. Don't even go there, Washington Post. We know that the Washington Post is full of shit. Okay. Now, look at this. Tucker Carlson ripped for peddling. Here we go. We know that Tucker Carlson has been going out there and bringing out the truth. Tucker Carlson ripped for peddling conspiracy theory that COVID was made to spare Jews. Oh, okay. Anything to go against Tucker. Now, they've jumped on because Tucker's against stupidity, okay? And they've all made it out that Tucker's anti-Semitic, that he's against Jews, all that. It's nothing. It's not the case. It's how they basically been projecting this crap on him, because he's out there saying the truth about AIPAC and all that. And AIPAC have got a smear campaign, just like the Congress people that are being bought and sold off by AIPAC against Tucker. COVID may be messing with your sperm. It's more the jab. Okay, again, mask mandates return in wealthy blue states. Yes, it's all about the libtards, the left. So it's all about control. It's all about division. It's all about keeping us programmed and controlled. Good old Pac-Man. Remember that? We're going to go into Pac-Man again. Now, things obviously escalation. I'm going to just really break it really quickly. Russia. Okay, things are escalating over there. Ukraine still going on. The war still going on over there. In Israel, they're going out there and annexing the West Bank. Didn't President Trump say, no, they're not going to do it? And they're doing it. It's like we've been gaslit because we are. And remember this, what is it doing? It's drawing further attention. That's what it's doing. Further attention to all what's been going on. Now, have a look at this. Israeli soldiers accused of raping Palestinian detainees, which we remember that lawyer that was working with the IDF, exposed. And what they've been doing is they've been filmed looting. So these IDF scumbuckets, Israeli Defense Force, think about what they've been doing. They've been looting humanitarian aid that was meant for the Gazans. Let's have a look at this video.
والله بشم في حمص في فول في بندوره وفي
Yeah, there's plenty of chickpeas and canned tomatoes for me. You know what I mean? That's what he's saying. Dates.
والله شيء لخيم مطوق.
No, I'm sure those sweets are for, your friend in the Knesset to make his sweets to give out. Remember about that business? How they passed, apparently they're putting it out there, or they passed it, to do with Palestinians being executed. So they gives them the rights to go around executing people like the Nazis did back in the old days. Oh, no, he's taxing all, think about this, the aid, so that the US taxpayer all these other countries from the Arab League have been sending over there to help the Gazans feed them out, help them out. They've been starved. These clowns over here have been taxing it all for themselves. Okay? Now, what is that doing? That's absolutely aggravating people. Don't you worry. And then what are they doing also? They keep going to the Al-Qasr Mosque, the Dome of the Rock, and they're going there and they're continuing to pray, and it's provoking more and more anger. That's what it's doing. And then they're using Hezbollah. Remember I told you about Hezbollah? Yes, no, we got Hamas that was being funded by Israel. Remember that even the MP at the Knesset in Parliament called out Bibi Netanyahu, go and watch the previous show, that he was funding Hamas. And they're just using them as an excuse to go into Lebanon and expand the greater Israel. Issued arrest warrants for 37 suspects, and one happens to be Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, think about this. President Trump, he'll be copping it from, here's Ben again. Here we go. He's complaining about Erdogan putting an arrest warrant on his head. Remember what President Trump says? They all come to me when they want to speak about, Erdogan, because Erdogan he's basically putting an arrest warrant on his head. Now, remember, this is not about the left and the right, because now we've got a MAGA lefty. Have a look at this business. Okay, Megyn Kelly, you all know who she is. There was no pedophilia ring, really. We've been gaslit again. MAGA lefty. So we've got a MAGA lefty as well. So I didn't know MAGA. No, apparently AOC opened that little floodgate. MAGA lefty, Batya Onga Sarganian. That sounds very American to me. No, it isn't. Have a look at what's around her neck. The Star of Satan. It's right there. Look at that. Right across her neck there. And she's going around gaslighting people and saying there's no pedophilia ring to Megyn Kelly on Jeffrey Epstein, really now, where we saw Vance, Patel, Don Jr. saying otherwise. All right, even Pamela Blondie, Alina Habib, all them saying the opposite. There's a pedophile and then a bunch of friends who are getting massages at this point. Really, we're fed up of being gaslit, but you know what? We just, unfortunately, it's about putting the magnifying glass over it, riling up people, getting them upset, angry. And what is that doing? Well, we can go straight to the Q drops with that one. What is that doing? It's uniting humanity again. Remember what Q said. What will unite humanity? The Great Awakening. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change. Now think about this. All this is coming out about Epstein. Everyone, left, right, center, is all basically the MAGA people, the leftists, the whole box of dice. They're all uniting for the one cause, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing it. Crimes against children. They are crossing party lines. It's not about Republicans or Democrats. It's not about the left and the right. They're uniting under the one banner. Have a look. Now remember, everything is connecting to the Mossad. Epstein Island is a Mossad operation. It's a honeypot operation, just like the CIA had the Playboy Mansion. It's so they can have control over degenerate leaders and elites. Let's have a look at this video right here.
We have not seen some slew of young women come forward to say, me too, on Donald Trump molesting them or having paid for sex with them when they were barely legal or otherwise. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, in fact, at that same press conference, the lawyer for a group of the women actually said Jeffrey Epstein would prey upon women when they were underage, true and disgusting and horrible. Mm-hmm. And then the lawyer said, and when they came of age and he was no longer interested in them, he would then pass them on. So there was no pedophilia ring. There was a pedophile who did unspeakable things to vulnerable girls, and then they would age out of Jeffrey Epstein's pedophilic interests, at which point he would then start to pass them around to his friends, meaning that there were not actual crimes committed by anybody beyond. There's no pedophile ring. There's a pedophile and then a bunch of friends who were getting massages at that point from women who were no longer underage. This is from the lawyer at that press conference. So I think that that kind of dispels a lot of the like salaciousness of the story. People are like, where is the justice for the victims? The justice is one of the people who did unspeakable things to them died in prison, and the other one is still in prison. So like they got their justice, and the whole ring idea, I think, has been wildly blown out of proportion.
No. Let me tell you the truth right now. Okay, she's from the left. You see what I mean? It's not about the left and the right. They all work together. They all serve the same beast. Okay, that's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. They all play in the game. Remember, you got her on the left, and you would liken her to being who on the right. Okay, anyone can take a guess. Oh, it's Laura. We got Luma on the right, and we got her on the left. Okay? No. Where did you get those lying lips from, Luma? Because you know what? I've approached Luma. I've approached Luma about the USS Liberty. I've approached Luma about a lot of things, and I'm always getting the crickets. Now, let me talk to you about Luma. Number one, okay, she goes out there and plays the investigative journalist. Well, I'm an investigative journalist, Luma. Okay? How about we get together and let me ask you some questions on your show, because you wouldn't be able to last 2 seconds. Number one, when I asked you about the USS Liberty, I got crickets. I asked you about the dancing Israeli, I got crickets again. I keep getting crickets every time I ask you about something, and this is the thing, she only goes on by a narrative. So she acts like she's the investigative journalist when it suits the narrative that she's trying to push out there. Okay? Now, she's on the right, and this one is on the left. Okay? Look at this one, this little picture right here. The agents, they work both sides of the angle. Remember the left and the right wing? All serve the same beast in the middle. They've been getting away with it. The illusion of democracy that they've created, yes, the Democrats on the left, we got on their corner George Soros, right? On the right side, on the Republicans' corner, Miriam. Good old Miriam's over that side. Yes, Miriam, ladies and gentlemen. And they play us all off, but they all work together. They're all part of it, like I just showed you, her on the left and good old Luma on the right. It's not about the left and the right. We're past this crap. Okay? It's about common sense. That's what President Trump says. I belong to the party of common sense. Yes, now look at this. Now Luma's going out there. If the US ends the aid to Israel, then who are we to tell them what they can do and what they can't do? She just went recently to Israel, ladies and gentlemen, and all of a sudden, she's done a whole 360 because they're all working together. Laura Loomer slams critics of Israel. Let's have a look at this video. And she's about the bad Islam. Islam is bad. Their God is bad. No, it's not their God, because Allah is basically another label for God. That's all it is. Okay? They choose, in Greek, we call them theos, right? That's where the word theology comes from. Theos is God. Allah is God. God is God. It's just a label. It's just in a different way, language of calling it. But what is she making it out about? Oh no, they're bad. Everyone painting them with the same brush, Luma. Okay, no, I would have you on any day of the week. All right? And I would have you on, and I would bring in all the facts and some receipts to the table. Let's talk about the US Liberty. Let's talk about the Lavon affair. Let's talk about the dancing Israelis. In fact, let's talk about it all. No, she wouldn't want to be on my show because I would iron her out like you would not believe. Anyway, let's have a look.
People say, well, we're paying for those, those weapons that are being used to bomb people in Gaza. So we have every right to tell Israel what to do as it relates to not bombing Iran or not leveling Gaza. Well, if we're not giving Israel $3.8 billion a year, who are we? Who are we, Steve, to tell Israel what they can and can't do?
Hold on a minute. But you've been giving money every bloody year. Oh, no, not just every year. Hand over fist. Technologies. Oh, no. Let's not stop there. The technology that Israel's got. No, don't you worry. We've been taken for the biggest ride ever. Like, remember with the drones that I showed you in the previous show? How that comes from Israel and how the police are using that to surveillance US citizens. And where do you think that information is going? Back to good old Israel. Oh, don't you worry. There's a lot of things going back to good old Israel. And you know what? You, Luma, should go back there as well. Realistically speaking, they should do a loyalty test. And if you fail that loyalty test, Luma, you should go and stay there permanently with the others. Now, have a look at this. Times of Israel. Trump's AI czar leads, so the one that leads the AI, that's what I'm saying. Those people that he's got in his cabinet are like snakes, because they are snakes, okay? And remember, friends close, enemies closer. Trump's AI czar leads 33 million, we know what that number means, 33 degree masonry. Million investment in Israeli cyber startup. Let's have a look at this one. Trump's AI czar, okay, there we go. Israeli cyber security protecting America. Lovely. Startup Daylight Security has pulled a new investment of 33 million. I mean, do you see how they use that 33 number? There we go. Who is President Trump's, shall we say, AI czar? Mr. Sachs. Oh, yes, no. Sachs is involved in it very thickly, like the others. And what are they involved with? Well, apparently they're investors such as Bain Capital, we just close that down there, such as Bain Capital Ventures and Maple VC also participated in the funding of these prominent cybersecurity funders. Now, ask yourself this question. Why the state of Israel? Why can't we just bring it in-house in the United States? Can anyone in the chat answer me that question, please? Please. Why is it the state of Israel that they're trusting cyber security with? Obviously, because David Sachs, and we know David Sachs is one of, shall we say, involved, okay? And you can see it reeks. The whole thing reeks. So number one, we got drones that come from Israel that the police are using to surveillance US citizens. Then we've got the cybersecurity that is being funded to the tune of, what, $33 million by the US taxpayer. Obviously, David Sachs. Oh, no, cyber threats. No, the cyber threat, the real cyber threat is Israel. And they have been. And they've been creating all these little, like, Oracle was created by the CIA. Yes, that was lovely, wasn't it? That Oracle business, that Larry Ellison. No, it wasn't his idea. It was the CIA's. Oracle, database, that whole thing. And it's all got all these, it's like Swiss cheese. Oh, we've got to put another update. No, don't trust that. When you hear the word update, know that they're putting more Swiss cheese into your software so they can get more access into your data. Okay, there's no cybersecurity, and that's what I'm saying. Why is this happening? It's exposure. Now, we know 33 is the key word, the number right there. 33 degree masonry. And we know that's also they're involved in that club as well. Don't trust any of it. No. And in fact, I heard something. Yes. Let's talk about this. Samsung are apparently, let me see if I can find that article right there. Okay, but apparently Samsung is not good. No, the whole thing's not good anyway. Apple iPhone was running out of China. We're going to go through that one too. Don't you worry. Google running out of China. Facebook, running out of China. They were all running out of China. Don't you worry. They were running out of China to screw us all over equally. Okay? And remember, what they've been trying to do, screw over America. And they've been trying ever since. Now, what President Trump is trying to do is bring back the chip making, because we know what the chips are, connects to the hardware. We know what they're involved in. Okay? Backdoor entry using the chips. Okay? President Trump's bringing back the chip making. I don't like that business. President Trump is trying to take control over Silicon Valley, whereas we know what Silicon Valley have been operating at. Google and all the rest of the gang have been operating out of China. Okay? Oh, don't you worry, I got all the facts and some receipts on that one too. Bibi Netanyahu has been trying to annex TikTok, which through his mate Larry Ellison, who's got connections with the IDF. We've been through that as well. When are people going to wake up and stop? Oh, Israel this and Israel that and Israel. No, you won't be going Israel this and Israel that. And there's so many of these pro-Israel fakers out there. It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Now, apparently, Netanyahu's saying he's not afraid of Mandami. So if he goes to New York, he says there, Netanyahu stresses he's not afraid of visiting New York or getting arrested by Mandami. Remember Mandami? He said, if Netanyahu steps his foot in New York, I got to follow international law. And it's arrested. Okay? He's laughing it up because you know what? He thinks America is a joke. He's gone away with genocide. He's gone away, let's call it what it is. Mass murder. Committing his own little Holocaust in his backyard. Funding Hamas, all these other entities to do what he has to do.
I want to ask you about the new mayor of New York City, Mamdani, who said very robustly and confidently that he would arrest you should you step foot in New York City. He's softened that stance a little bit over the last, say, 12 hours, saying, well, foreign leaders can travel wherever they like. Are you afraid?
Oh, really now? So Mamdani softened his approach. Well, I showed you that they all work together, left, right, left, all connected to one another. Remember, Mamdani, connected with the Zionists as well. Left, right, left, doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter at all.
Now of going to New York City, will you not go because of that fear, even though really he's got no means to back that up?
The answer is no, I'm not afraid. And the answer is what do you want me to say about Mamdani? I mean, what about him? Ask me, you want me to give you a...
No, you're not afraid, Bibi, because you got everyone under your thumb. That's why. You know what I mean? You're not afraid of a damn thing. And like I said, guess what? He's going around. Didn't President Trump, everyone hear President Trump say, they're not going to go anywhere near the West Bank? Well, guess what? They're going to the West Bank and they're carrying guns as well. Have a look at this one. That's an illegal Israeli settler. That's what they call them, illegal Israeli settler. Why don't you just call them the Mossad or the IDF?
So he just is making us lose all the water.
So basically this guy here, okay, like I said, remember, this is all done by design. It's aggravating people. People are getting upset, and they should get upset. He's basically getting rid of all their water supply, and he's sitting there with a gun. You want to save your water supply? Well, guess what? Fuck around and find out. I've got my machine gun next to me.
He's opening the water system so that he's wasting the water for people to drink.
So while he's wasting the water with his machine gun and all that, see, what they're trying to do is make it uncomfortable. And not only uncomfortable, they're actually killing people in the West Bank, getting rid of them, demolishing their houses. And President Trump said, I guarantee you there won't be any of that business going on in the West Bank. And guess what? It's done by design so they can annex Judea, because that's where the West Bank is, and Samaria. Done by design so they can connect to the ancient roots. And, these Zionists, they've got no connection to the ancient roots whatsoever. Okay, because they're not from there. They imported back in the day. And it's to whitewash all the history that the real Palestinians had there. So they got, that's why they're doing what they're doing. So then they can say, see, they're running the show now, and they can do whatever they want with these ancient sites and change everything around. Now, people should get pissed off. Enemies wrong that Israel has a TikTok army. Netanyahu says IDF changes the Middle East and proved enemies wrong. Lovely, because when you got your friend Larry Ellison that's running the show on TikTok, and your TikTok data, I don't know, they all got it. It's all going into a big sponge in Israel. Okay, being absorbed, all the information, all the data. They're running cybersecurity. They're running the drones that are basically going up and down the skies in the US. Okay, they got that business going on. And yet people, oh, we love Israel. Really? Really? Are you serious? And anyone that speaks against it is called an anti-Semite. And even there are people that are, no, there's sick people out there that are going out there and they're using acid. So, you know what acid attacks are? A woman tried to carry an acid attack in Toronto, Canada on October the 2nd on a pro-Palestinian activist. There we go, this one right here. She got acid and her friend's carrying the Star of Satan. Look at this. She's got acid.
What's this? What's this? What's this? Hey? What this? Oh! No, you have to arrest her. No. Yes.
You, other side of the line. You.
Look what she holds. Go.
She was about to commit an atrocity. Everyone has their right to protest in a civil manner. But this woman decided to go and take acid and spill it on somebody else. That would have scarred him for life. Now, another thing. Trump asking the president of Israel to pardon Bibi Netanyahu. Why? Why did he do it? I'll tell you why. So this is the letter that he sent over to the president of the state of Israel. Remember, Netanyahu's the prime minister. And he's asking for the president of Israel to pardon Netanyahu. Remember what President Trump said? I don't want a pardon. Think about why he said it. I don't need a pardon. I'm not guilty of anything. So in other words, what he's doing is by asking, and he's basically calling him guilty. It's all been done by design, and it's all to draw anger and attention to what's going on. Remember what's going on with Epstein. That's all been done by design, because guess what? Why are the left and the right uniting under the Epstein business? Think about it. It all makes perfect sense. Because Epstein connects to the state of Israel. See how easy it is that you're seeding mass consciousness that children will unite humanity. But remember, what does Q also says? Leaving the state of Israel for last. Why? Because everything points in that direction over there. What I want to do is let's go through some Q drops as well. Let's go and do a bit of decoding. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let me try something new. Okay. In the meantime, please hit the like button. Okay. Like our stuff. Join the Rumble channel, our YouTube channel, please. Up the top there is our QR code. You can click on it or scan it, whatever, and it will take you to our link tree. And from there, you can click on and join everything. Please support this platform that asks so little, you know what I mean, and gives so much. Please. Things are not making a world of sense. We are living in opposite world. We're in the thick of the looking glass. And I'm going to take you into a journey right now that is about to blow your minds. And I ask everybody, number one, to have an open mind, very importantly. Everything that I'm going to show you is all based on facts, evidence, and receipts, like I always do. Why? Because it grounds us. It gives us grounding. It gives us, shall we say, that we know without a shadow of a doubt that all that we that is being shown is factual. That's what it's all about. Facts, evidence, and receipts. Now, there are certain entities, as I said, they're being used for their reach. Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. Now, Tucker has been out there exposing about the Thomas Cook thing, which is, I'm going to look into that more. Tucker Carlson has been exposing a lot of things. In fact, he's been putting Fox News, remember the place where he used to work for, his old employer, right under the microscope. He's put the anti-Semitic, shall we say, excuse under the microscope. He's exposing the Zionists. He's exposing AIPAC done by design. And he's exposing one of the main characters that all of a sudden has become, shall we say, prominent in Fox News. Now, why? Well, remember, Fox is owned by Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch is a Zionist, okay? He's connected with the Zionists. Because Tucker Carlson was, you want to call him caged? The birdie that was caged? The birdie, remember what was the bird? Twitter. Remember the bird? When is a bird, well, you know, as Q says, when does a bird sing? When it's freed. Well, Tucker Carlson's been freed, and he's been singing like a bird.
The rest of us have to listen to an awful lot of a man who a year ago was unknown to most Americans, kind of a third-tier podcaster, TV host, or radio host, or whatever. A guy who was a weekend show on a cable channel, a guy called Mark Levin. And for the last month, we've been watching Mark Levin say things that no one in my lifetime has ever said from the right, like this. Watch.
I don't know where this Jew hatred from the Marxists, the Islamists, the neo-Nazis, the grifters, I don't know where they're pulling us and pushing us. What do they want to do with American Jews? What do they want to do? Where are they taking this country? They're destroying it. Carlson, Owens, Kelly, Bannon, it is a time for choosing. You pick the good guys or the bad guys. You pick America or you pick the Third Reich. They're not MAGA. They're not conservative. In fact, they're more Marxist, Islamist, America-hating, Jew-hating thugs than anything else. And let me educate them briefly. The Babylonians couldn't kill the Jews. The Persians couldn't kill the Jews. The Romans couldn't kill the Jews. Hitler couldn't kill the Jews, and by this I mean eliminate them. You think your puny little asses are going to be able to do it?
Kill the Jews? Your first thought is, wait a second, how do we get to that? No. Just don't want a regime change war against Russia. By the way, a war in which Jews would die, presumably, both in the U.S. military and the IDF. Like, no, don't want to kill anybody. Actually, that's kind of the point. You want to kill the Jews? So the first thing you notice is like the total inversion of what the argument actually is. It's an argument about to what extent should U.S. military power be used on behalf of another country, not the United States. That's it. That's the debate. And all of a sudden it becomes the Babylonians, the Nazis trying to kill the Jews. So, again, it's an inversion. He's accusing his opponents of really what he wants, as always.
Tucker is correct. Accusing. That's all it is, accusations and from the playbook. Deflection, projection. He made it about things that were what his narrative was all about. Division. You could see it even what he was saying, Mr. Levin, is against anyone else, everybody else. And if you're not with them, then you're part of Hitler's micro penis, one ball, third right. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And thank you very much, Tucker, for that. It makes all the world of sense. Now, getting on to our decodes, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. You would have heard that Mr. KASH Patel has been jumping up and down, and his girlfriend, oh, don't you worry, get ready for this one. He's apparently suing $5 million against somebody that is saying that his girlfriend was involved as a Mossad asset, which that's not the case. The case is this. The question that was raised is, why is KASH Patel using a $60 million FBI jet use, where Mr. KASH Patel had criticized Christopher Wray for using it for his personal use? In other words, it's being a hypocrite. And what KASH Patel is doing is twisting everything around and making it about this girl, his 25-year-old, 26-year-old girl. And I think KASH is in his late 40s. She's got a country western career, and what happened was, and I've got the flight logs, ladies and gentlemen, and when I'm in the flight logs, as an investigative journalist, I made sure I downloaded the real flight logs. Not by somebody's little clips that they put up there. No. I made sure that if I'm going to release a story that's based on facts, evidence, and receipts, that I have all the facts, evidence, and receipts to produce. KASH Patel's girlfriend files a bizarre Mossad honeypot lawsuit. This is a claim against Elijah Schaefer, and accused her of working as an agent of a foreign government. What he put, KASH Patel and his girlfriend have weaponized the legal system against me and my media company. Let's have a listen to what this gentleman has to say, because I think it's very important. And let's go through the facts, evidence, and receipts that we have here. And everybody can make their own minds. Here we go.
Which they suspiciously got the exact valuation of my intellectual property that would force me to shut down and apologize and turn over all my assets to the district court, that would require me to turn over communications in discovery, which I'll talk about what we're planning on doing and how we're going to be responding to this. I'm going to tell you, this is a very dangerous precedent for the American people, because the entire evidentiary case they have against me is that I do not support Israel, that I do not believe that Americans are free, that we are occupied by Israel, and that my criticisms of KASH are why this is filed. Now, let's talk about this. I want to clarify these things. I never said anything about Alexis Wilkins, period. She said that I had a wordless reply. Sounds dystopian, doesn't it? She also said I didn't imply anything about her being a Mossad agent. In fact, it says that I just posted a picture of our unmarried head of intelligence in our country, one of the single most important positions in the world, that is dating a girl who we know nothing about. He is not married in a committed relationship by law. That's important. And he's on the dating market. Do you want your FBI director to be on the dating market? I just think it's interesting, whether he's with her or anybody else. It's like, yeah, people can, be susceptible towards whatever's going on. And that's not even why I posted the photo. But, well, people could be. So what would be wrong if somebody even did imply that? I didn't imply it. But it's like, even if they're accusing me of doing what they say I did, is there a crime in just wondering if your intelligence agencies are being led by uncompromised individuals? No, obviously not. Look at James O'Keefe's entire investigative portal. He literally finds...
Let's go through the facts. Need to know, 2 years ago, he was criticizing predecessor Christopher Wray for private jet travel. He paid for with the taxpayers' dollars to hop around the country. Patel, not long ago, flew his $60 million FBI jet to see country singer Alexis Wilkins, who has been dating and performing the Star Spangled Banner at the wrestling event in State College in Pennsylvania. After the reports surfaced that he used a government-owned plane, Patel reportedly fired the official in charge of the FBI's fleet of aircrafts. Now, let's go through the facts. Number one, did he accuse Christopher Wray? Yes, he did. 2 years ago, hashtag government gangsters, Christopher Wray lying to Congress and jetting off out on a taxpayer dollars while dodging accountability. Sound familiar? It does. It should sound familiar. Number one, who's been dodging accountability when it comes to the Epstein? I've shown you that he said about when he was podcasting and all that, about releasing the Epstein files and all that, and even Mr. Bongino. They're dodging accountability. They're dodging accountability again with Thomas Crook as well. And yet he accused Christopher Wray of jetting off at the taxpayer's dollar. He's going around with a 26-year-old girl known as ALEXIS Wilkins, a country west singer, but there's a lot more to her. There's her singing at the event. She's showing the belt at the wrestling at the event. Let's go to her Instagram. That's right there. That's at that wrestling event. There we go. RAF Wrestling USA. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to fax them in some receipts here. Another thing is, I downloaded the original flight logs. That's the dating or the dates in question. They went to the State College Regional Airport. There we go. There's the plane. That's KASH Patel's plane. Okay? Jenna 708 is the tail number of the plane. That's the registered number. There we go. So there we go. Right here. 25th of October. That's where they flew over here to the State College Regional Airport. That's the event. That's where they went. She sung at the State College in Pennsylvania, the Star Spangled Banner. So already you can see that it's all legit, all true. Then we've got KASH Patel going out there, and this is what I'm saying. What they're telling people is that we're making it about the abuse of taxpayers' money. Patel reportedly used a $60 million jet owned by the FBI, so $60 million jet by the FBI, to travel to the State College, Pennsylvania, where his girlfriend, country singer ALEXIS Wilkins, performed the Star Spangled Banner. So the photos are there. I've shown you the photos. I've shown you the flight logs. It's all factual. This is what it's all about. Returned to Washington, D.C. the following night, and he returned to watch the New York Islanders. So basically, there we go. It's all there. This is his comeback. So basically, $5 million lawsuit that what he's trying to do is project it and deflect what it was all about. Number one, it was about the $60 million jet being used and abused, him being a hypocrite. That's what it's all about. And then he made it about her, and he said here, let me be clear, we will not be distracted by baseless rumors. Well, that's not a baseless rumor, Mr. Patel. Number one, you've been exposed for using a $60 million jet for your own personal use. In other words, who's the one that has to foot the bill? The taxpayer. That's all been proven. That's all factual. So they're not baseless rumors. You've also have made it about her. Why? Projection and deflection. Uninformed internet anarchists and the fake news. How can you call it fake news when the logs, everything ties up? How can you call it fake news? Anyone that goes around trying to gaslight you Don't take it. Don't believe they're garbage. Alexis is a true patriot. They didn't question that. And the women I'm proud to call my partner in life. Attacking her isn't just wrong. So basically it's deflection, projection, and making it about her. Do you see it? Now, let's have a look at what X says. Their little community notes. Let's see what they said. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. People are largely not attacking Kash Patel's significant other, which they weren't, rather than reacting to his firing of people, which that was proven, who pointed out his usage of the government funds to travel to her shows. Patel's previous comments on FBI's officials using private planes and taxpayers' dollars. Well, the facts, evidence, and receipts say the truth. He was out there bragging about, back 2 years ago, about Christopher Wray lying, to Congress about jetting off on the taxpayers' dollars, where everything can be proven, flight logs, everything is tied in, and then he's trying to gaslight us. Because there are people out there going out and making assumptions that she's connected to the Mossad, that she's an Israeli asset, and then they're saying that she's actually somebody else that had some sort of plastic surgery, really. What I go by is the facts, evidence, and receipts. That's the way I work. And I'm sticking with that. Let's look into Alexis's, shall we say, history. Not real history. Alexis Wilkins, she doesn't have a Wikipedia page, but she is a country singer and a political commentator known for her music. So apparently she's a country western singer. Now, she has written for platforms such as PragerU. Now, what is PragerU? Well, PragerU is like this. You know how you got the turning point? So you got the turning point and how they speak about conservative values like Charlie Kirk, remember? We've been through that whole thing. Get them while they're younger. Get them while they're young. Just before they vote. But PragerU gets them at a younger age. So in other words, they instill values. What kind of values? Conservative values, Christian values. But this is the thing. How young? Young. So you got the turning point that goes after the university students, the high schools, all that, before they vote. But then they go younger children. So the indoctrination starts while they're young. And I'll tell you why I call it indoctrination, because it's pro-Israel. It's another pro-Israel indoctrination camp for the children. So do you see why there is so many of these people that are so blinded by this pro-Israel rhetoric? Because it's been programmed in them from a young age. Who's behind it? Who is the CEO of PragerU? So you got her that has written for this platform, which is Alexis Wilkins. But who is the CEO of PragerU? Her name happens to be Marissa Straight. Who is Marissa Straight? Marissa Straight, ladies and gentlemen, is a former, this is confirmed, a former Israeli intelligence. In other words, Mossad. Marissa Straight, a former Israeli army intelligence member. Do you see, ladies and gentlemen, that they've got themselves embedded in every possible way? I exposed the turning point. I exposed, remember on the show, I showed you their connections to the state of Israel through the donors and a headmistress of a Los Angeles County school. And now she's the chief executive officer of PragerU. So you can see already how they've come to the conclusion that, hold on a minute, Alexis Wilkins is somehow tied into this, and she is. She's involved in this by contributing. Now, There we go. Praga U stands for University Foundation. Q tells us something very important, that they've all got foundations. Now, it's a non-profit fund. Think about this. Didn't you hear Peter Thiel that spoke about Jeffrey Epstein, who spoke, he was a specialist in setting up non-profit organizations and dealing with tax. Dennis Prager, ladies and gentlemen, okay, they've got this whole thing going on. They've also got, like I said, they've got donors. Like the trading, so the Turning Point, just like these guys here as well. They use supplemental education material in public schools in 8 states. So this is at a young age. Get them while they're still young. Have a look at where the finances come from, ladies and gentlemen. The late Republican mega donor, Sheldon Alderson. Where have I heard that name before? There we are. We all recognise her, the biggest main contributor to AIPAC that greases off all the Congress people. She's involved in it. Just recently, you saw in Israel when President Trump says, that's all been done by design to call her out. Who do you love more, America or Israel? And she stayed silent. Well, we know Sheldon, her husband, these entities over here are multi-billionaires. He's passed on, but she's carrying the torch. Okay? They were involved in casinos. Now, look at the face of President Trump. He doesn't look too happy. Don't you worry. And you know who's playing the game? Democrats, they got Soros. On the right side, they got Miriam. Lovely, isn't it? And what are they all about? Being a good Zionist.
All we care about is being good Zionists, being good citizens of Israel, because even though I'm not Israeli born, Israel is in my heart.
Let's play that again. What did Sheldon just say? The one that donated to Praga U and Miriam? I want to be a good Zionist, even though I'm not born there, because you weren't born there when it was Palestine. Okay? It was always Palestine. It was never Israel.
All we care about is being good Zionists, being good citizens of Israel, because...
Oh, okay. So there we go. Good Zionists, good citizens of Israel. What about America? What about America? No. There we go. The late Republican, you just heard it, a good Zionist, a great citizen or good citizen of Israel, Sheldon Alderson, you heard it from his mouth. Then you got Dickie and Betsy DeVos, we know who they are, foundations. National Christian Foundation, because they all remember Judeo and Christian values, really. They're all in this shit fest together. Look at this. So they're all involved in this, all involved in funding this little scam over here, getting the children while they're young. There's Dennis Prager. There's Marissa Straight, a former, shall we say, Mossad asset. Now do you see, ladies and gentlemen, it all connects up. But don't you worry, as I say, there's always more. Dennis Prager, obviously he's one of them, he's pro-Israel. And Dennis Prager says, nothing better identifies incipient evil than anti-Semitism. So you think about this, they've been installing this indoctrination in the children from a young age. So not only do we have the Turning Point that gets them before the voting, pro-Israel this, pro-Israel that, because after all we know the donors are. We know the donors are all connected to Israel, proving that. Then we've got them at a younger age, this business. So can you blame it why it's like a one big fat brainwashing camp. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but that's what we're dealing with. Brainwashing. And look at this. They've had some prominent video presenters. Now have a look at this. Ben Shapiro. Yes, no, good old Ben. don't like Ben. Ben's a piece of shit. Okay? He's corrupt as you can get. Ben Shapiro is someone that thinks that he's made it about white people. Did you know that, ladies and gentlemen? Ben Shapiro made it about white people. I mean, after all, Ben's in $6 million independent expenditures and campaign contributions, received from pro-Israel interest group, $6 million. So it's not enough that we have to listen to his garbage and he plays the game out there with Levin, but he's also getting cashed up $6 million and playing the MAGA card, the conservative card. I want to carry on the torch from what's his name? Charlie Kirk. Yeah, the one they can't work out where he's buried yet. Yeah, that one's a bit of an interesting one. But like I said, it's not about left and right. Look at this. Billionaire Miriam Alderson voices support for Stefanik. I mean, obviously, she voices support. We know that this lady, Alderson, Miriam, has got a finger in every bloody pie, don't we? Very interesting state of affairs. But let's listen to Ben, okay, Shapiro.
But I think the broader problem here is, again, that you have an enormous number of young people who are engaging with true white supremacist, anti-Jew content and are taken in by it, and there do need to be more voices pushing back on that.
Let's play that back again, Ben. Let's make it about the white man again.
But I think the broader problem here is, again, that you have an enormous number of young people who are engaging with true white supremacist, anti-Jew content and are taken in by it, and there do need to be more voices pushing back on that.
Oh, really now? Do you see what it's all about? Division, control, division, control, division, control, division. That's what they've been pushing, that little game. Just like Luma. You don't trust Luma. I told you, Luma's, forget about it. That lady there, look at that. Her mouth's for rent, all right? She's got no loyalty at all. President Trump knows this, don't you worry. He's not stupid. He's sitting there watching them all expose themselves. Okay? So you can see already how we're connected to Praga. How we're connecting the dots to Alexis Wilson. Cash's main squeeze. Now, the thing is, we've got to go into her history. Yes, where did she come from? Where did she, all of a sudden, where did she come from, ladies and gentlemen? That's the question. So you already see how people have come to the conclusion. Now, there are those, and that's what I'm saying, I'm about the truth, the facts, evidence, and receipts. And there are people going out there saying that this lady, Marissa Straight, is now becoming Alexis Wilkins, that she is now Alexis Wilkins. No. Don't do that, because you're destroying the truth. Okay? They're saying that she has become her. And I'm not about pissing in the wind and bullshitting. No. I'm showing you the facts, evidence, and receipts. Candace Owen is going out there and saying that Kash Patel's like a love-struck teenager. Yeah, very interesting, that one. So he's going out there and he's doing the thing with her and they're all lovey-dovey and all that sort of crap. Does anyone stand by Kash here? Does anyone stand by Kash, considering all the corruption that's been exposed? Very interesting. Lovely. There she's wearing a cowboy hat. There she's playing the guitar. He's basically in love. Okay. Now, the thing is with Alexis, let's go to an employment history. Now, you've already seen how people can come to the conclusion, because after all, she's connected with the Praga University Foundation, or Praga. Who's running the show? A former Israeli, shall we say, Mossad agent, because that's what they are. Who is Alexis Wilson? Okay, he was there at the swearing in. She was born on November the 3rd, 1998 in Arkansas. Okay, so spent early years in England and Switzerland. That rings a few warning bells. Number one, after all, we know what England's all about. And we know what Switzerland's all about. Okay? 26 years old. And then served as a press secretary for Republican Representative Abraham. Yes, she did. That's the reality. She did serve. And I've got the facts and receipts, as always. Abraham, who happens to be a Republican, okay, congressperson as well. Have a look at this. That's him. So he's honoured to have her as part of the team. Alexis Wilkins as press secretary. Lovely, isn't it? Doesn't it bring a nice warm feeling to your tummy? Yeah, based, all right. So look at this. She's a contributor to PragerU. There we go, a platform that produces educational content promoting American values, and she's also a country western singer. Lovely. But who is this guy, Abraham Hamadi? Or Hamad? However you want to pronounce it. Let's go into him, shall we? What is his allegiance like? Hamadi is a strong supporter, there we go, of Israel, stating that the Jewish people have no bigger ally than him. He said that his view on Israel were affected by visits he made in the country while in law school. Lovely, isn't it? Doesn't it bring a nice little warm feeling in everyone's stomach? Okay, that everyone loves Israel, the state of Israel. They're singing the tunes of the pro-Israel tunes. I mean, look at this. It's all there. Can you see? So PragerU, she's a contributor, content, provider to that particular platform. That platform there, the CEO happened to be a former Israeli Mossad. Right? Then we got they're being, shall we say, mega donors, the Aldersons again. Can you see how people have come to this conclusion? Because then I'm going to tie in exactly what KASH Patel really thinks about the state of Israel.
Imagine the efforts of the Israeli military and the Mossad.
We will be standing side by side with them. We need America to wake up and prioritize Israel. And that is not what Kamala Harris is about. Bring home Israelis and make sure we stand by our number one ally in Israel.
No, that's from Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay? So it's all there. And take what you want, like I said, of KASH Patel. Number one, Patriots, a lovely name, isn't it? With a Y. Patriots with a Y, Incorporated Payment Processing Company, lovely. Elite Depot, hold on a minute. Didn't I just speak about the Cayman Islands? I did, didn't I? There are people that obviously don't want the truth getting out there. There are people that are getting rattled by the truth. I'm showing you the facts, evidence, and receipts. Look, everything I'm showing you, it's all factual. It's not these things that are made up, superimposed. After all, I have my dignity and, an ethic to follow as an investigative journalist as well.